Oh, I'm probably gonna
Say it fast.
say it after.
Okay. It is. I think it's live.
Okay, well then.
Wait. It's still spinning. Okay. Now.
Welcome to this week's Rocks Talks. I'm Perizaad.
I'm Faizeh.
And welcome to our first live recording of the new year, 2021. Last week was our first interview. This is our first live recording. Woo!
Woo! Hold on. I'm having technical difficulties.
Sweet Jesus.
Hold on. Why can't I get this? I can't.
What's up?
To go away.
To get what to go away?
Sorry. Okay, here we go. And everything is going really slowly because my laptop is like, there we go. I think I did it. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I can't hear you though. That's the problem.
Why can't you hear me?
One more thing. Okay.
Can you hear me now?
I can. Yay.
Outstanding.
Okay, I'm good now. Let me get this.
I mean, we've been live for a while, so
I know.
let's start the show, guys.
Yay! Okay. Hi.
It's been a minute.
Yeah, I'm going to cling to the I'm old and technology is like to me.
Sure.
Just let me cling to that, okay?
Yeah, you got it.
I see that you still have stockings up too.
I do no, all of the Christmas decorations are still up. Apparently I'm like super Catholic and we're going past Epiphany. With the decorations. I don't know what we're celebrating till, but
you know what? If it makes you happy, then
apparently we're gonna celebrate Christmas until Christ leaves for Egypt and comes back 2 years later with like how these decorations are staying up. Anyway. Hello, friends.
Hello.
We thought we would talk to you today about goal setting for your dance since it's the new year and 2021 hopefully is the year that we all get to see each other again. So it'd be great if we were all super fantastic dancers.
Yeah.
I'll let Faizeh lead.
So honestly, that has helped for me. Like last year, for a while, I spent a lot of time staring out the window in the springtime because it was like the depression just overtook me and the weight of everything was it overtook me. And I didn't practice. I hardly practiced at all. And it was really, really hard on me. And then I was kind of sporadic for the rest of the year. Like I would go for a while, being really consistent, and then I'd go for another while where I wouldn't. And honestly, it was when the vaccines got approved by the FDA. That was when the light at the end of the tunnel really showed up for me. And that was when I started to pick up my consistent practice again. And so that was also when I discovered how weak I had become. So like things that
I get to be the
Aww,
Bond villain today.
he's so sweet. He's so fluffy. Anyway, but so I discovered that I had become really weak. Not just because like I am someone who goes to the gym to build up strength and stamina to support my dancing, and just for health because lifting weights is good for your bones. I'm aging, and so I want to, make sure that I am not going to fall over and not be able to get up, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um, and I want to be prepared for that now, before, and not wait until I'm 75 or 80 and then go, oh, hey, I bet my bones are brittle. I should take care of that. So,
Well, and the thing is, speaking of brittle bones, like, one of the things that's really important for women, like one of the main supplements that women take, if they take supplements, is calcium, to fight osteoporosis and osteopenia. However, it's very difficult for your bones to absorb those nutrients unless you are doing strength training, strength building exercises that actually put tension on your bones so that way they can like absorb it, such as weight training. So weight training is just, it's very important for women actually. And it's interesting because it's one that we tend to stay away from because we want to be svelte.
right.
And so we're doing all this cardio and not enough strength training. Hello, Kat, what are you doing?
There's not a big problem in my family that I am aware of, but I don't want to be the one that
Starts the trend.
So, and I have dumbbells here at home and I have a gorilla bow, but when I go to the gym, I do heavy lifting, like hardcore. And I can tell you, DNA is going to have a lot more to do with the way you bulk or don't bulk. It's not just like my booty is going to get big regardless. And that's fine. And so, but I still like when I'm doing the leg press and I'm pressing higher than my body weight, that makes me feel really strong. But I got to do the leg press 3 times last summer while our gym was open for a week. And, I got to go 3 times and then the gym closed again. And so I haven't had any heavy weights for a year now.
Oh, I just got rid of my gym membership because they wanted to charge me for the entire time that I wasn't using it. And I was like, no.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Because I am a member at the YMCA and it's a nonprofit and they've continued to do a lot of their community work. I have kept up my membership even though I obviously can't go, and that's, and we are able to continue contributing. Like if it was that or groceries, then my gym membership obviously would be, have to go away. But anyway, so I've discovered that I've lost a lot of my strength. And so that is one of the things, even though I'm not going to be able to do like heavy weights, I'm trying to increase my reps with my dumbbells and things like that, and increase the weight on the gorilla bow and things like that, so that I can build my strength back up. Because one of the things that I discovered was that really did affect my dancing, and like I was having a hard time doing the things that the music told me to do at the level that I was able to a year ago. So I was still trying to dance the way I had become accustomed to dancing, but I'm not like, I can't stay on the beat as well, and I can't do certain things as well. And that became really, really evident. So now that I can see the light at the end of the tunnel, I have better focus. Okay, I'm going to do this. And so for example, even though who knows when we're actually going to be able to do live events, I'm going to train for the competitions that I didn't get to do this last year. I'm going to just prepare for those with the assumption that I am going to get to go to those. So
So why don't you talk
my
a
goal.
little bit more? Right. Why don't you talk a little bit more about your process for goal setting? Because I think you are much better. I'm so good at planning out goals, but actually like achieving them less so. So why don't you go over your process about how you set goals for yourself and then achieve them?
So I do two types of goals. Like I do lofty goals that might not actually be realistic, which is what most people do exclusively. And I understand the mentality behind if you don't shoot high, then blah, blah, blah. But for myself, and I suspect you're the same way, and this is actually something that I wanted to talk to you about, aside from rock stocks, so we'll talk about it later. But for myself, if I can't see myself getting any closer to the lofty, possibly unattainable goals, then I just throw my hands up and go, well, I can't do it. That's just too much. And then I don't do anything. So I set go ahead.
I was going to say, I think that, we also need to recognize that there's a difference between like goal setting and daydreaming. Cause like,
yes,
I love the idea of, one day I'm going to be like, able to make, live exclusively off of the money I make with dance. But like, and I can be like, yeah, and I'm going to dance 2 hours a day, 5 days a week. And it's going to be my freaking Rocky montage over here.
No.
Yeah. But I mean, no. It's like, yeah, I'll buy a journal and I'll do this and I'll do that. But then it ends up like not being a thing. I think that's part of it too, is like not just, setting lofty goals, but there needs to be like the achievable goals in between.
Exactly. And so like, for example, when I gave you I think it was the side quest with Rocks Riches, one of the things was do some shimmy drills for 5 minutes a day, 3 days a week. I don't know if you're doing it, but part of that, as that side quest, was to get you in the habit of just having something that you do regularly. So a lot of times I will start out with 5 minutes a day, or 5 minutes a day, 3 days a week or 4 days a week or whatever. Because if I can't carve out 5 minutes, then this really isn't important to me. And so then I have to address whether or not this goal is actually important to me and deal with that. Because like you're saying, there's a difference between setting goals and daydreaming. And I can daydream all I want, and that's fine. But if I'm not ever actually doing anything towards it, then it's just daydreaming. And it's okay to daydream. I daydream about having one night of passion with Chris Evans. It's never going to happen, but I can think about it.
How do you set goals for that? Like,
I was just going to say, if I make that a goal, then that's going to turn me into a stalker. And so I'm not.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So that is why, for example, when I'm in a competition, of course I want to win. That's the daydream goal. But the actual goal is to like get a good video out of it, or make sure, like, learn this choreography and nail it while I'm performing it live, because then you can feel good about having achieved that. And that way, if you don't win, then it's okay. And you don't get mad at the people that do win, because they've had the same goal of nailing their choreography. So for myself, I like to do this, because if I say, I'm going to practice for 2 hours a day, I'm not going to do it. I'm just not going to do it. And then 2 weeks will go by where I have not danced at all, or a month will go by and I have not danced at all. Whereas if I say, I'm going to practice this for 5 minutes a day, then at the end of the week, if you do it every day, that's half an hour of practice time, which is way better than 0 minutes of practice time.
Yeah. And that's something I was watching gosh, I don't know her full name, but Shruti, she did a lecture on choreography block for the belly dance bundle. And she talked about the difference between perfectionist striving versus perfectionist concerns. So perfectionist striving is when, you drill this thing until you nail it. Perfectionist concerns is when you let the, oh no, what if I don't nail it, block you from doing anything. And I had to really get over it one day because I really just wanted to do an hour of yoga. It just came out of nowhere. I just really wanted to do an hour of yoga. But by the time it hit me that I wanted to do an hour of yoga, I didn't have time. And so I was getting all mad about the fact I didn't have time and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And I finally was like, well, why don't you just do half an hour of yoga? And although it's not an hour of yoga, it's better than no yoga because you're sitting here pouting about the fact that you can't do an hour. Like,
Yep. And I mean, when you're an infant, you're not like this person that can't even hold their head up and then suddenly the next thing you're running around. You
Right.
have to build up your strength to hold your head up. And then you have to be able to push your body up. And then you have to be able to pull your body up on using furniture to stand up. And then you have to be able to learn to take a couple steps to walk. And then you walk. And then you run and fall. And you're not going to just suddenly have the stamina to practice for 2 hours.
right.
And you're not going to go from, I haven't done it, and now I suddenly have the time. Because part of setting those goals is setting your priorities. So it is okay if you don't want to be the greatest dancer in the world and you want to have read every single Stephen King novel by the time you're 30 or whatever it is okay. It is okay to choose your thing, but you have to recognize that reading all of Stephen King's novels is more important to me than becoming the greatest dancer.
Right.
And if you want being the greatest dancer to be more important than reading all the Stephen King novels, then you have to put down the book and get up and shimmy.
Yeah.
And so that, for me, what really helped me with working towards my goals is recognizing that it's about priorities. So a lot of times we go, I don't have time for this. You may not, because it's not high enough on your priority list.
Also, the other reason why you might not have time for it,
yes,
is doom scrolling.
Exactly. And that was actually my next point, is that you have to be honest with yourself about how you're prioritizing your activities. And so, yeah, I don't have time for this because I'm busy doom scrolling. And you have to go, is doom scrolling actually more important to me than strengthening my shimmies? Yes or no? If it is, then just own it and go, I would rather sit here and wallow in the state of our world. And sometimes you have to. Sometimes you do need to wallow. But be honest with yourself. And that, to me, is one of the hardest things, is to go, I chose to sit and watch The Bachelor for 2 hours and eat chocolate chip cookies instead of shutting the TV off, reading a book, and practicing my undulations. I made that choice. And the reason I don't have time to practice my shimmies is because I chose to watch The Bachelor. Life is choices, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, the other thing that's, the one thing that has really worked for me is having an accountability partner that I meet with once a week. And the thing is that like, so my accountability partner, for people who don't know, is Kat Ellen, who is a guest on this show. And we are actually going to meet later today. And, what Faizeh is saying, just being honest with yourself is so important because we've been meeting for a while. I mean, definitely after I lost my job in March and then before we started doing this. So sometime between April and May, I feel like Kat and I started meeting, and we were meeting pretty consistently almost every week for all of 2020 after that, up until I got my job, which was like Thanksgiving, basically, because then I was trying to figure out because I was going through training, I was trying to figure out my weird schedule. And then also her partner is a professional Santa Claus. So she was busy being Mrs. Claus. And just, we didn't have time. And we were honest about that, trying to do, we call it shenanigans. And like trying to do shenanigans was going to stress us out way too much when we had other things that we had to prioritize. Like I had to prioritize my sleep because I'm now a night auditor. And so my sleep schedule's really, well, I'm only a night auditor half the time. The other half the time I'm day shift. So I have a weird schedule. So I like nail, and I have migraines, and homeostasis is a very important thing to try to maintain when you have migraines. So like maintaining my sleep is a very, very important thing for my, quality of living.
Right.
We just started back up last week, and we're going to be meeting later today. And I was, because we met on January 6th, actually. So my goals for myself, which I've done, there've been a couple weeks where I've set like really good goals. Like I'm going to apply to 3 jobs. I'm going to do yoga 3 times a day. And I'm going to meet with Faizeh about Rocks to Riches. Like, I've had really like boom, boom, boom kind of weeks. And then I've had weeks where I've even like exceeded the goals. But there have also been weeks like last week where I was like, I'm going to take a bubble bath, do yoga at least twice, and cry as needed.
And those are valid.
But I actually got some stuff done this week that was really, really important to me. Like one of the things that I did is, because I'm doing the belly dance bundle struggle to strength deal right now, their competition with yourself. I am doing that. And instead of participating in the peer review, they had suggested, like, for yourself, when you're doing your own self-analysis, to go through this worksheet. And if you're going to be too critical of yourself, watch it with a friend. And it's like, well, I have 3 friends that I really, really respect and admire and would really enjoy their feedback. So I asked them if they'd be willing to, and they said yes. Faizeh was one of them. And this weekend, I managed to do it perfectly. I managed to get my the videos that I needed them to watch and the PDF edited, so it was just the worksheets to send to them, so they had the weekend, if they so chose, to do it. And that was really, really important to me. I got some other stuff cleared up so that way I can compete in a competition with other people, not just myself. In June, I'm going to be doing hot rocks. So, I mean, those are 2 major things that I accomplished. Meanwhile, I didn't do any bubble bath or yoga, so I'm definitely going to do yoga and a bubble bath before 4:15 today when I meet Kat. Or at least like halfway accomplished. But because I was honest, like Faizeh was saying, because I was honest with myself and what I needed, because sometimes self-care goals are the ones that you need to do.
Right.
Like I've definitely set goals for myself, like in those meetings, being like non-screen related relaxation. So like knitting, yoga, books, whatever, just not my phone, not the TV, and not my laptop. Like, and that's been really helpful for me. So having the accountability partner, being really realistic with myself, and also like having to meet every week and setting my goals that week has been so helpful, because instead of, if I'm like, well, I have this 6-month calendar of goals, and now a bunch of stuff came up in between, and now these goals are no longer realistic. I'm not a failure because I'm setting my goals weekly of what do I want to accomplish that week. So I can more, in a better, like, real-time sense, establish what goals I want to hit that week.
Sometimes when I'm struggling, because I struggle with depression, and I always have, in my 30s, I was able to really start to figure out how to negotiate with myself to, and the things that I needed to do. Exercise and eating better were huge for me. I know that that is not always enough for people, but that really, really made my depression more manageable for me personally. And so I was able to carry that over into my 40s. But the weight of everything going on is a new type of depression that I didn't know how to handle, like all of this other stuff going on in the world and concerns for people that I love and anger and, all of these other things that are making it so hard. So one of the things that I started doing, and I don't do it every day, but when I'm really, really starting to feel like I'm falling into the stare out the window pit, then I start, like, I just make a list each day. And then and it includes, like, take a shower, like just, and I get down to the nitty gritty, because sometimes I'm like, I'm going to clean the house. And then I feel like I only did one thing, but, obviously it took all day to clean, to clean everything. But I'm like,
Right.
all I did was, so I like get down so I can cross those things off, and I feeling like you accomplished something for me is huge. And I was going to say, you're going to do this before 4:15. Last minute goal reaching still counts. It still counts because you still did it.
Yep.
You still did it.
Yep.
So I wanted to put in a plug, actually, because Sahira, that we interviewed and that was up last week, she posted on her YouTube channel a great goal setting. She went live on YouTube and did a great goal setting thing. And then Adrienne, if you are subscribed to her newsletter, she also had a goal setting video for subscribers to her newsletter. So those are two other sources that I just wanted to kind of stick out there for people who need kind of help figuring out how to set goals. And for me, like I said, being honest with myself is the most important one, and being realistic. So, like, there's the big one, and then there's like, okay, I'm going to do this 5 minutes a day, 3 days a week.
Well, and they always say, like, there's always this thing that people, here it is. They always say that goals should be SMART, which is specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based. So being like, I'm going to Rocky my way up to, champion of Rocks Talks, or not Rocks Talks. I have
Rocks.
Rocks.
You are the champion of Rocks Talks.
But it's like, no, I'm going to have never competed in a belly dance competition before. I will have not gigged more than 3 times in my life, or ever danced in a restaurant regularly. I've only ever subbed, and I'm going to somehow be queen of Hot Rocks this year with 6 months to train. Like, that's not an achievable goal, but, saying that I'm going to send feedback videos for my 3 friends to help provide me with feedback by Friday, so that way they have the weekend to go over it if they want to, which of course Adrienne didn't. Like, I literally got my feedback email from her like 30 minutes after I sent it, and I was like, no, she was great. But like, I was like, oh my God.
Was waiting to talk to you in person. So I have feedback for you. So
That was one of the options. I did say if they want to discuss. I also offered coffee, baked goods, or lap dances as payment for their services and feedback. So that's why she's waiting for the in person.
That's right. That's going to be interesting social distancing, though. Make sure you wear your mask.
Definitely. But I mean, like, but that's yes. So remember, specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and and time based. So, you know, for me, yeah, it's like Faizeh said, it's like, you know, reading every Stephen King novel by the time you're 30 is definitely a great goal, but it's not relevant to dance.
Right. And if all you're doing is sitting and reading, which there's nothing wrong with that, it's just about it's about choices. It's just being honest with the choices that you're making.
Yep. So
anyway, that's half an hour.
Goal setting, achievable goals,
yes,
being honest with yourself, and accountability partners. That is what we recommend for goal setting in 2020. And let us know what some of your goals are in the comments. We would love to know what some of your goals are for dance this year. Like I said, I'm competing. Faizeh and I are both competing in Hot Rocks. Oh, my competitor. But we're both going to be competing in Hot Rocks this year. So we're both working on that. I'm really working on really amping up my game with dance and getting really a lot more specific with my dance to make sure that, like, when I dance to an Egyptian song, I'm actually doing Egyptian dance versus just like whatever.
Hippie dancing, as I like to call it.
Yes. So I'm working on that. I'd love to hear what some of your guys' dance goals are. So please let us know in the comments below what your dance goals for 2020 are. But otherwise, I'm Perizaad.
I'm Faizeh.
And this has been Rocks Talks this week. Please give us a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Otherwise, we will see you next week with our interview with Alia Gamal.
Yes, I'm excited about that.
No, it's not. What am I saying? It's Heather Henna Louise. I can never
That's
get
right.
these right. We had a great conversation with Heather, who, if you don't know, is in the middle of teaching a class called belly dance in the United States. So we got to talk to her a little bit about that. So be sure to look for the video. The interview is going to go live Wednesday next week. So otherwise, see you later, guys. Masalama.
All right, let me.
Just going to smile pretty until it goes away.